Our motoring tip of the week concerns locking lug nuts. Generally speaking, way more trouble than they're worth. Possibly a few exceptions. Now, if you've got crazy expensive wheels and tires that you've upgraded on your vehicle, okay, I can buy into the locking lug nut theory. And I'm also told by people in the know that if you have 4 winter tires on rims in Quebec in the winter season, probably a pretty good idea to have locking lug nuts. They can disappear. But generally speaking, an OE wheel and rim, wheel and tire package that comes on most vehicles today, nobody's going to jack the car up to take those. They might take the whole vehicle somewhere and strip it, but they're not going to remove the wheels and tires wherever you parked it. The problem with these things, and as I said, more trouble than they're worth, is that when you get a flat, you have to install your spare or your vehicle's in for servicing. If you lose track of this special key that you need to get the lock nut off, you're in big trouble. And that comes up awfully frequently. People are on the side of the road, they want to get that spare tire mounted. You're digging through the trunk, you find the spare, you find the jack, you're all good to go. Where's the locking lug nut? Maybe it's on the workbench back at the last place that serviced your car. Believe me, that does happen. They're a pain in the neck, and for that reason, in many cases, I advise people just take them off, put them back in the package, put the 4 standard lug nuts back on the car, and save yourself a lot of headache. If you are using them though, what you should know is that you should not use an impact gun on that locking lug nut. So just use the wheel wrench or a torque wrench in order to loosen it and final tighten that locking lug nut. Reason is, there's very limited engagement at the tip of that nut, and it's chrome. You don't want to chew up the chrome with the impact gun or the socket, so it's best to torque them, remove them, and reinstall them by hand. And you should final torque all the wheel lug nuts when you're finished with a proper torque wrench. And that's just a general rule of thumb right across the board. Now, generally speaking, these locking lug nut packages, vast majority are made by a corporation called Magard Corporation. If you lose the locking lug nut, there's a reorder number in the package where you can mail or email Magard and get a replacement locking key. But I mean, that's a number of days away in shipping, and if you're on the side of the road, that's the last headache you need. So my advice, unless you really need locking lug nuts, get them off there. That's your motoring tip of the week.